Welcome back to another episode of Hello Ladies, where feminism meets pro wrestling. We're your hostesses with the mostesses. I am Sabrina,
And I'm MJ.
and we have a very special guest today. Drum roll, please. That's my attempt at a drum roll. Tyler
Oh, it's me.
Wrestles.
Hi. How's
Hey,
it going?
Tyler.
I'm
Um,
glad I'm here.
Oh, yes. So you might recognize Tyler from TikTok or YouTube or Twitch. Is there anywhere? Instagram?
You name it, I'm on it. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I've got it all now. Yeah.
Um, and for those of you who do not know Tyler, one, he is a wonderful human, and two, he is also someone who loves women's wrestling. So
Yep.
we thought we would have a little chat about what's happening in the world of women's wrestling. But is there anything that you wanted to like promote of yours, Tyler?
Um, Nothing. I mean, obviously all my social medias like you already did. Tyler Wrestles on pretty much everything. Or you can go to tylerwrestles.com. It's my link tree. I made it fancy. There's big buttons and there's actually each button has a different women's wrestler on it. You can go follow it. Just click on what you got. I have a wrestling Discord, which I have a bunch of community of people that go on there and talk wrestling, and then they show pictures of their pets, artwork, talk about movies, TV games, whatever. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the main things. So, but and
Just
you
a
know
few.
this, you got to remember this is my return to the podcast.
It's
I've been
true.
this is the
Yes.
two time.
It's true. Yeah, the first time where I was trying out a new software and I literally couldn't hear like 90% of the
Hmm.
so I was like
I
trying
remember
to
that.
piece it together and go, professionalism over here. That's what you
Yes,
get.
yes.
But yeah, I think the last time it was basically talking about you and your love of wrestling, right? And like how everything
Hmm.
started. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I remember because
It's,
talking about your grandma.
yep, yep. Yeah, my grandma's kind of the reason I got into it. So even though she didn't like wrestling, I'm not, she didn't watch it, I should say. She let me watch it. So because she had cable.
That's
Ah,
cool.
So
that's the important thing. Yeah.
and a VCR because she had a VCR before like anybody because she worked at an electronics place and like
Oh,
she had,
That's a cool
yeah,
grandma.
yeah, no, it really was. And like where she worked, you could go rent Nintendos and Super Nintendos and camcorders and yeah, so we had all that stuff growing up when it was ridiculously expensive, still like in the 80s. So it was kind of cool.
I love how hard you just dated yourself.
I know I'm old, so I am the oldest one here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Not by that much though, right?
No,
I
not
feel
too
so
much.
youthful. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, MJ's the
When
baby.
we wrap this, we will actually be slaughtering MJ and drinking her blood for her youth.
Exactly.
My teeth are already claimed.
We'll leave your teeth for Danhausen.
He's got to have some.
Yes, yes. So what do you want to start off with? Is there a promotion you'd like to start with? Would you like to start with something happy, something like grumbly? What would you like?
I, I think we should actually start off. I can interject with reminding people to like,
Oh,
subscribe, share this video out, and leave a little comment below. We're talking all about women's wrestling today, so let us know who your favorite women's wrestler is right now.
yeah.
Definitely.
Would it be safe to say yours is Chelsea Green right now, Tyler?
I mean, Rhea's always there, but Chelsea, I've always had a soft spot for Chelsea. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's kind of weird to have like a four-way tie for my top because, and the other two, which are going to surprise people, are Marina Shafir
Okay.
and Vert Vixen on the Indies. So those are my other two big I'm a huge fan of. So, but yeah, Chelsea's right now kind of leading the way. Although Rhea's doing some good stuff right now. I loved. I don't know if you guys saw the clip. I'm sure you have by now. But when she did, where they were at the press conference, was it yesterday? And
Hmm.
the little girl or whatever yelled, I love you, Rhea, and I love you too, small child.
Yes.
Yeah.
It cracked me up. I watch it like 5 or 6 times a day, and it was showing people at work it, so they got a kick out of it.
I'm still living on a high with Rhea calling Dom a chicken tender slut or
Oh
whatever.
yeah,
That's yeah,
Oh
that's the
yeah.
greatest thing.
Yeah.
yep.
She's just pure gold. Pure gold. And
Yes.
her
Hmm.
feeding into the bisexual Undertaker and
Yeah.
just constantly sending that stuff to Priest is my favorite.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. How do you feel about speaking of Rhea, um, the upcoming match with her versus Liv Morgan and hopefully the end of this particular feud?
Yeah,
Like you said,
right.
hopefully the end. I'm ready for them both to do something different. Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't know. How many times can you run it back
Right.
and have basically if Liv doesn't lose, we're just going to go another 3 months, and I'd rather have them both doing something fresh going into Rumble season than that. And I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, it's getting old.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
feel
That's
kind
for
of
sure.
I feel kind of bad for Liv because as fun as this run of hers has been to watch, it's also like totally revolved around either the Judgment Day in general or Rhea, Dominic. So it's kind of just been like it's been fun to watch, but it's also been like she's kind of been like a sub part to like all of these other
She's
people.
Yeah, she's kind of been honestly, she's been a weak champion in my opinion
Yeah.
Hmm.
until she won at Saturday night's main event clean. She
Yeah.
really hasn't had a good victory. It's all been interferences and people helping her win. And yeah, that was like her actual first good victory of her title run,
Sure.
which is sad because it's probably going to be one of her last victories.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
she's kind of just, I don't know, just kind of been there holding the belt.
Yeah, and like that's not who her character has ever been. Like she was
Yeah.
always like the
Hmm.
underdog who like she was so scrappy. We all rooted for her. And I understand
Hmm.
obviously becoming a heel and whatnot, but it makes
Yeah.
sense when fighting Rhea to have like the interference, but it didn't need to happen with every single other like
Yeah,
opponent.
Right.
exactly.
Hi, Freddie.
He is so antsy right now. He just like couldn't see because he's off camera. He climbed up all my blankets. It's like a mountain of blankets and was just up at the top. And then he just started to slide down. So I keep looking over, watching him slide down this hill of blankets.
It's
That's
not one of
funny.
our podcasts unless a pet is acting up.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with a special guest. Then they have to be like, look at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, who would you like to see both of them, both Rhea and Liv Morgan face after this?
Honestly, it's funny. I really haven't thought that far ahead. Normally, I'm way ahead on this stuff, but I don't know. I think if Rhea wins the title, we've got to have some. I mean, there's going to be a heel, obviously. And right now, I don't really know who that would be. The only thing I could see them, I don't think they'd run. No, they won't do that. I don't know. I really don't know. Any ideas from you? Because I'm not even thinking right now who it could be.
How about you, MJ?
You know, I don't know. This whole Rhea and Liv feud has been so weird that I was half expecting at some point for Rhea just to go after Naya's belt and just to kind of scrap it temporarily. But then that just brings it right back to the Liv thing eventually. So
Hmm.
I was hoping that this feud would stop revolving around Rhea Ripley, because like I love Rhea, I do, but it's like this whole title run that Liv's had has just been a constant reminder of Rhea. So it just feels like an extension of Rhea's title run to me in a weird way. So I don't know. I'm completely stumped. Like seeing Liv go against Io was awesome, and
Hmm.
like I loved that, but it's just been really weird how they just kind of put all the eggs in the Rhea Ripley basket for this
Mhm.
title run of Liv's.
Yeah. Um,
One,
oh,
I get.
oh,
Oops, sorry. I guess I just thought one thing they could do is if they do take the title off Liv, what probably will happen, if Raquel turns on her and then somehow we build Raquel up to be this big heel and she wins the
Mm-hmm.
Rumble and it's Rhea Raquel at Mania, or maybe even a third person in there. But
Yeah.
I could see that possibly happening.
They could be running back too if Rhea wins the belt. We had like that tag match with Tiffany and Rhea were on the same side. We could run it that way too.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Tiffany could enter. What if she winds up the champion? Like,
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
possible.
yeah, and
That's true.
she's just like, haha, suck it. And
Yeah.
that ends a feud.
It's yeah, that's true
This
too. That'd be a good
this
reset.
this debut on Netflix is going to be crazy. I am so
Yeah.
excited for it.
Me too.
Mhm.
Especially like because they've already said like people are going to be changing up rosters. So
Yeah.
there could be someone, and like we're expecting returns between the Netflix debut and of course Royal Rumble. We could get a
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Grace or somebody like that
Yes.
coming in.
Yeah.
And that I don't think she even needs to be a monster heel for that. People would just want to see like those like Rhea versus Jordan because
Yeah.
powerhouses.
Rhea's been really good
Yeah.
about being a tweener though at certain times too. Like to the
Mhm.
point where you're like, she's just so damn lovable that she could just ride that wave of being a tweener, you know, you don't question it.
Oh yeah. Like even
Yeah.
when she was like really healing it up with Judgment Day, everyone was still yelling mommy. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, what was it? Dirty little freaks or something that she called everyone? Monster or dirty little monster, something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, yeah.
Now I feel like I'm going to open up a can of worms if we ask Tyler this question, but I think why not, right? Tyler, in terms of who has the best women's division right now, how are you feeling about like WWE in relation to everything else, or like what's kind of like your eye on right now?
Honestly, I think the best women's division, which I've been saying this for a long time, is NXT. Just
Okay.
because I feel like they feature the women so well on there. That's why they might not be the most talent. I mean, they're the more green or less experienced division,
Sure.
obviously, but they do so many interesting things with them and create
Mm-hmm.
so many interesting storylines and matches and things they just constantly are doing. And a lot of times, I mean, a good chunk of the 2 hours is focused on the women. The WWE, like the Raw and SmackDown, it's hit and miss, but like it's been a
Mm-hmm.
little bit better lately, especially with the subplots we got going on, like with the Jade thing, and
Yeah.
then just some of the actual tag team division has been a little bit better lately. And then we got AEW, which for a while there it was pretty. It was one or two stories.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll say this week's Dynamite had a lot of women's stuff on it. Just, I mean, between the opening match
Hmm.
and then we had the Mariah interview, we had the Tony interview, and
Yeah.
I mean, there was just a lot of they definitely might have put a little more effort into it this week than they have recently for a Dynamite, especially because normally
Mm-hmm.
it's one 4 to 7 minute match and maybe one backstage thing. Plus, Harley
Yeah.
Cameron was on there too, so I mean,
I love
I
Harley
don't know.
Cameron. I love her.
Yeah.
She's so good.
Yeah. So no, that's my thing. I guess NXT. I love watching NXT just because the women's division is so strong and they do
Yeah.
so many interesting things.
Do you watch TNA at all?
I do. TNA. I don't think TNA is as good as it was women's division wise, but they definitely feature their women fairly well too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's left of TNA after the end of the year. It sounds like
Yeah.
they're going to lose a lot of talent.
A lot of contracts are up. So
Yeah.
yeah. Someone like a Jordan Grace, I don't foresee her. It makes so much sense for her to go to WWE,
She's got to, yeah.
which she can still wrestle then in TNA, but
Yeah.
some of the other names I'm not so sure. Like
Mm-hmm.
they could still wind up in TNA. I think also TNA having that partnership with WWE gives people in TNA who might consider going to a different company who don't necessarily already have an offer from WWE, the makes it more likely for them to stay in TNA because they still might get featured um,
Mhm.
True.
on like a big platform like that. So, especially, I would imagine if I was booking WWE, um, the Saudi shows when people are like flying back or any of the internationals, though following Raw, it makes sense to me to pull up some people from TNA as well as people from NXT.
Yeah,
That's
That's
true.
that's what I would do.
definitely. Yeah, that makes sense.
So.
I think there's the
Yeah.
elephant in the room with TNA though, right?
Oh yeah.
Ever since Scott left, and then Tessa Blanchard making her
Yeah.
debut, I think
Mhm.
it's kind of
Soured.
some yeah. Soured is a great way to say it. Exactly.
Hmm.
I on
Definitely.
I honestly considered canceling my TNA subscription when Tessa Blanchard was back. I was like, are we serious?
Yeah.
And like it would be different if she did some sort of apology or like
Yeah.
actively tried to make amends. Nope.
Yeah. She's never done that.
Nope. She's like, I'm the same shitbag I was when I left.
Yeah.
It is weird considering that it seems like such a weird decision considering like the relationship between TNA and WWE right now improving, and to have her there when there's people like a
Well,
Chelsea Green who's kind of spoken out about her
it's
before. I
kind
don't
of
know.
it's kind of funny because I can't remember who I was reading the other day, but maybe it was, I don't know if it was Meltzer or it was Sean Arset, one of those guys. They
Uh-huh.
said that they thought this was a experiment to see how it would go over with her being on that roster if they could bring her to the WWE eventually. Is what,
Mm,
just to see how things would work out with between the roster and with TV and everything, and just this could be a trial run to see if they bring her back in. That's what that's what I can't remember which one of them said it, but they had a little article about it, and I was like, yeah, I don't think that's going to go over, especially since so many people have spoken out about not wanting to work with her.
yeah, I know Jordan had said she didn't want to work with her,
Yeah.
which they must be
Yep.
like really sure that she is leaving if they were like, well, we're
Yeah.
gonna make you do something you don't want to do.
I would think
Yeah.
so.
Just
Sorry, not to bring up the negative elephant in the room, but as we're talking about TNA, that's just kind of where my head's been at. It's just been so weird. It seemed like such a strange choice.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm not thrilled about it, to say the least.
But like you said, I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be crazy come Royal Rumble season, what we see, who
Mm-hmm.
we see debut in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some interesting. Hopefully, there'll be. It should be a lot more interesting than it has been in past years. Just because I think we're going to get more TNA and even NXT people possibly thrown in there,
Mm-hmm.
because there's just so many people, especially in NXT, well, the women's division especially, and some of the top guys in there. There's a pretty good backlog of people that have been there for a while now. So just
Yeah.
because they got injured mainly, like
Yeah.
Cora Jade or
Mm-hmm.
people like that.
GG.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not women's wrestling related, but Royal Rumble related. I personally hope that we see Ethan Page, one, because I love Ethan Page and because I know how happy that'll make
Yes.
Jay. Um,
Yes.
like strut on out. Oh, I don't think there'll be no living with that man if he is in the Royal Rumble in the best way.
Yeah.
I will
Exactly.
scream. I will scream if he's in the Rumble. Like I feel like I should film my reactions to the Rumble because if that happens, it's gonna be insane. I love that man so much.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. I absolutely loved what he did this week on NXT. He just like baiting everybody in, and then the classic Ethan Page turn and
Yep.
boom.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then
good.
they were spitting blood even. It was like, wow, we're going all out tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
MJ was, I mean, Sabrina was paying lots of attention to that. Them spitting blood out.
Yeah. Oh, it's my favorite. My
I
favorite.
know. I know. Me and
Uh,
MJ are like, yeah, more blood.
I know, I fucking love it. I actually almost warned you, Sabrina. Have you looked at my stories yet? I forgot to tell you. I did put like there's a bloody photo in my stories. So if you haven't looked at my stories, you might not want to look at it.
Good to know. Thank you. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. Because I went to fucking the grocery store today, and for some reason somebody put like a bin of those bamboo skewers next to like the bath section, and I'm just like, the fuck is this over here for? And then I was like, they must be a deathmatch fan. And then I shared a photo of Mox with all the fucking skewers sticking out of his head. So
Nice.
Gross.
I
I
meant
was
to warn you about that.
I was so happy. So like my local indie shout out to Smash Masters Wrestling. They did I usually go to their monthly shows, but they did like an additional show that was like a mayhem thing where there was like